Welcome to Avocado's GuacTalks. Today we have Avicado data science consultant Mitchell Miller here, and he's going to talk to us about business intelligence and data warehouses. We have a previous GuacTalk that calls out, what is a data warehouse and API and things like that. So we recommend checking out that video as well. But to kick us off, Mitchell's going to tell us a little bit about business intelligence, data warehouses, and how they relate to each other.
Thanks, Jackie. Yeah, that was a great. I watched that Guac talk, and it really goes into some detail on how you might create a data warehouse. To me, there's a distinct difference between a data warehouse and data analysis or business intelligence, right? So one is the after the fact, and the other is how do you gather the data you need and put it in a format that works. The way I like to look at it is the data analyst or the data scientist, they're like the librarian at a library, okay? And your data warehouse is sort of that library. So imagine going to a library and just handing the librarian 3 books. They may be able to help you. They're obviously willing to research. They've been studying research. They're very proficient at it. But if you only give them 3 books, they have to spend their time figuring out what this is this relevant? And you don't necessarily get the vast knowledge that the library might have. So a data warehouse allows you to take all of your different data sources and get them in a format that's very easy to find the connection and the tissues that keep everything together. So that's kind of how I view it. I am certainly not a librarian, but because I actually have a lot of respect for librarians. I think they're a great example to look at when it comes to research. So I like to think maybe I could be a librarian, but yeah, that's kind of how I look at it. Do you want to start a project off with just 3 books, or do you want to have the whole library that you can look at?
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. That's a great explanation of it. So, thinking of those business intelligence tools, and if you want to use those to visualize data, do you have to have a data warehouse for that, or how does that play into it?
No, you don't have to. All these tools, Tableau, Power BI, things you may have heard of, things we certainly use on a day-to-day basis. You can pull in like an Excel spreadsheet, right, and just look at it from that one perspective. But what makes a data warehouse valuable is the work that goes into making that happen, right? So an Excel spreadsheet is one view that's usually curated by one or two, whoever's using that Excel spreadsheet. That's the perspective it's in. Whereas if you take that Excel spreadsheet and you add in a couple more, and hey, maybe we have some data from a finance software that we have, or a construction software that we have, when you start putting that together and putting it in a format that all kind of matches, it empowers you to do a lot different things, right? So one example may be, okay, in a spreadsheet, you may just have finances, right? Totals of like how much things cost, but you don't have the invoices in it. You don't have the purchase orders directly in it. You just have the numbers. And so for an accountant that, or somebody that's high level, right, that's looking at it may say, okay, yeah, this makes sense. That's the numbers for the quarter, but that's all you have in that spreadsheet. Whereas if we get those numbers and we can put it against the data warehouse and say, well, we have invoices in this spot, we have purchase orders in this spot, suddenly now you can drill in and say, how much left on this purchase order is there, compared to how much we've spent. It's not just looking at the spent costs. So it's that kind of thing, utilizing the different data streams to jump from one area to another and get the context that you need depending on the scenario you're in.
Yeah, I can definitely see how there's a ton of value in that, being able to have everything in one place and get that information. Yeah, so I guess kind of just to wrap up our conversation here, what are some of those key advantages to call out of a data warehouse and with, Tableau or Power BI?
Yeah, so like we just said, just the nature of being able to explore, right? Knowing that there's something else out there that's not just the data you're used to looking at. Collaboration between departments, right? So we have finances data maybe in there. We have operational data in there to compare, hey, how many hours are we putting to this project compared to how much expenses we have, that kind of thing, that you may have isolated that you want to get together. Performance wise, right? So imagine, I don't know, I've had some horrible experiences with Excel spreadsheets where you load it up and there's all kinds of macros in it and it's humongous and it takes forever to load. That's just one data source, right? You add in a couple of more and then it gets really clunky and it's hard to move through things. Where if you have a data warehouse, all that pre-work, those macros have already been done. You can pull it in as what you wanted to see it as, and work with it live. So it's a lot. The performance you get from having a data warehouse and having all this pre-work done on the data is just great for everybody that's involved. So it's highly recommended. And there's a lot of people on our team I know that can help with that. And I certainly appreciate their help when it comes to doing some of this data visualization.
Yes, definitely. Avocado's got a great team. So thank you so much for, sharing some of your knowledge on this. And, if anyone out there is interested in finding out more about a data warehouse or data visualization, reach out to Avicado at avicado.com or hello@avicado.com. Thanks.
Thanks, Jackie.